and control work with economic and social development. We work everything we can to ensure the stability on 6 fronts and maintain security in 6 areas. We strengthen our efforts to fulfill the supply of anti-epidemic materials and also coordinate the resumption of work and production. So far, we have bring a normal order of manufacturing, and we can see that a stable situation is maintained. First, we focus on the pinpoint of the industrial chain, and we also strengthen our efforts to improve the industrial chain coordination, and we also has worked to promote the orderly resumption of work and production of the manufacturing industry. For the first half of this year, the total value added of the industrial sector dropped by 1.3%, 7.1 percentage points narrowed than the Q1. For Q2, increased by 4.4%. We can see that major economic indicators actually have been improved. Second, we also see the new momentum in the emerging industries. We focus on the supply side structural reform and also the accelerating the industrial upgrading. The high-tech manufacturing's value added number increased by 4.5%, 5.8 percentage point higher than the average high-tech industry. Pharmaceuticals and equipment for the medical sectors also have seen the faster pace growth, and we also have seen the consumption sectors also show a good momentum. The key anti-epidemic prevention and control supplies also put in place in an orderly manner, and we can see the high technology such as Internet of Things, International of Vehicles, all see a faster growing pace, and we accelerate the progress in the traditional industry, growing industry. And also this year, we can see a 6.7 percentage point increase in the sectors such as information transmission software and information technology services. And third, we also actually lower the interest rates and also the additional fiscal and the financial and the taxation poverty given to MSMEs. Because of all these supportive policies, the profit rate increased by 0.6 percentage points, and the number for May increased by 6%. We have also intensified the business environment for enterprises and also introduced the payment policies for SMEs. 95.6 billion have been solved for the H1, and we also have the project in place to cultivate the champion enterprises, and we also focus on the coordinated development of large enterprises and small enterprises. The total value added number for SMEs dropped by 0.1%, 10.3 percentage point narrowed than Q1. And fourth, we have seen the information transformation technology increase. For the H1, the communication industry increased by 10.3%. And we also see the live streaming and also the newly emerged demand, such as remote education, online medical services, online video has expanded rapidly, and internet application play an initial role meeting people's needs, and 5G also accelerated its construction. And we can see that internet actually play a key role to promote people's life to a better situation. And based on the government report, we can see the fees of broadband and also the communications keep decreasing. All in all, China's domestic epidemic situation has been effectively controlled, and the orderly orders of production and livelihood have been resumed in an accelerated way, and the key indicators actually are better than expectation, which laid a solid foundation for further development of industry and communications. That being said, the whole situation still under big pressure, as well as the risk of a downturn of the world economy is increasing. Unstable and uncertainty factors have increased significantly in face of our further development. Going forward, MIT will further implement the requirement made by the CBC Central Committee and State Council, as well as in the state reports, government reports, and we will unleash the domestic potentials and in order to seize the new opportunities. And we will focus on the coordination and the synergy created by the domestic and international industrial chains in order to pursue a stable development of domestic industrial and communication development. So I have finished my introduction. Now my colleague and I will answer your questions. CMG CCTV. On July 16, the National Bureaucratic of Statistics issued the number for the first half of this year and how we can better maintain the growth momentum for the second half of this year. So talking about the COVID-19 actually caused a unexpected and unprecedented impact to the supply and demand sides. The MIT has been earnestly implementing the overall development made by the Central Committee of the CBC Central Committee and the State Council to coordinate epidemic prevention and control work with economic and social development. Through hard work, we have introduced the policies in order to promote a restoration of economic and social orders. Talk about industrial economy, and we can see actually that showed a trajectory of a decreasing and then increasing, and especially in the Q2 we have seen a good improvement. So far the overall foundations showed a good momentum, and we can tell that the impact caused by COVID-19 actually is controlled, and the fundamentals of a good trajectory will not be changed because of the downturn of a global economy as well as a pandemic. And now I would like to share with you the 4 areas of improvement. First, the operational indications actually can see a good recovery. The total value added of the industrial enterprises above the designated size dropped by 13.5%. So based on the unified deployment made by the CBC Central Committee and State Council, MIT has introduced policies and measures in place. Starting from the beginning of February, actually we already started the work to restore the economic and production order along the industrial chain, and we focus on the coordinated resumption of work and production of the whole industrial chain, and also based on the concept of coordinated development between large and small companies, upper and lower stream enterprises. And we can tell because of all of these measures, the number actually lowered to 1.1% decrease. Starting from Q2, thanks to all the measures and policies in place, we can see a good growth in numbers. So from April to June, 3.9%, 4.4%, 4.8% were achieved in terms of the total value added of the industrial enterprises above the designated size. Of course, we cannot only focus on the numbers of value added, not the numbers, and we should also put an eye on the situation of manufacturing and sales. What we can say is that also have a good performance above 98%. And we also can see a good rebound in the market sales, and also the enterprises showed a good confidence. We talk about PMI in June, 50.9%, 4 months consecutively above the 50 marks And I can tell this is a very important number because this shows the company's confidence on the economic development. So the numbers stay above the 50-point mark, separating growth from contraction for 4 consecutive months. And this is also a good sign around the globe. So we can see so far the economic growth actually is recovered, and based on our understanding, the economic recovery actually already back to the normal track. So based on the industrial sectors, for the 41 manufacturing sectors, half of all these sectors showed positive growth in Q2. So we talk about equipment manufacturing in May and June, reached 9.5 and 9.7%. For automotive manufacturing, increased 22.2% and 11.6% for 2 months in May and June. And judging from the performance, we can tell they create a new highlights. For the raw material manufacturing also showed a stable growth. I also would like to give you the highlights. The consumption sectors impact most by the COVID-19. The manufacturing and sales also showed a good rebound. We talk about for consumption sectors actually is largely impacted by the COVID-19, and we can tell people actually can feel the most based on these 2 sectors because they are the 2 sectors with high labor intensity that impact the jobs, right? So people like nearby that talk about the how many enterprises lay off the workers or a low number of reinstatement rate of employees. But we can tell for the previous 2 months, although it's still in a negative number of growth, but show a good turnover. By different regions, we can tell the manufacturing sector actually played a propeller role. For the 31 key cities, 18 out of 31 showed a positive number in the value added of industrial enterprises above that designated size. Zhejiang, Henan, Jiangsu all showed a big rebound from negative to positive numbers. Besides Guangdong and fewer cities, we talk about 10 major manufacturing cities, and Guangdong is one of that 10 candidates still in a negative number, but we talk about the majority of the 31 big cities, half of them actually showed a positive growth. And Shandong also reached the same level as last year in terms of growth. And we also have seen that emerging industry showed a good performance. So we stick to the mainstream of supply side structural reform, and also the traditional industries have seek new opportunities to reach the growth. And 4.5% have raised in the emerging industry. Well, Q1 it dropped 14.4%, but you can see for Q2 it reached a good growth. And since March, it maintained from 8.5 to 10%, giving a greater contribution to the growth of the whole industrial development. We talk about software and information technology services and equipment manufacturing, 10.3, 7.2, and 27.7% growth achieved. 3D print, the wearable watch, and the charging batteries, their total growth surpassed 40%. The epidemic caused a big impact to certain sectors, but actually also to promote the development of other manufacturing emerging industries, or we talk about the online education, online working. And we also talk about 5G that also help the digital development of the industries and smart manufacturing. So the digital plus manufacturing have shown a accelerated growth speed. And fourth, we also can see the policies to bring benefits to enterprises also produce its power. Because of a pandemic, the State Council and the related ministries issued more than 90 policies in place to unleash the vigorous of enterprises. And we also have issued the staged and targeted the taxation policies and also lower the utility bills for the enterprises. So far, 1 trillion yuan has introduced and saved by the enterprises. For the fiscal policy side, we also have seen the 3 times the targeted fiscal policies, and we also can see the MLF increased by 10.6%. And this is a good performance we would like to see. And we also have seen the inclusive monetary policy tools introduced to support the enterprises. And the profit for enterprises actually reached 5% in growth. For May, the profit number increased by 6%. Another good news is SMEs also showed a good recovery. For the last time, for Q1 press conference, we talk about the SMEs really concerned. But judging from the current performance, we can tell that the policies indeed have been bringing benefits to SMEs, and we also can see that a good feedback already generated. Having all that said, the global economic recovery actually is sluggish. The overall international business environment are not desired, and also the pandemic caused additional challenges to the whole economic development. It still need a longer time for enterprises to prevail over the difficulties. On top of that, flood disasters also cause additional challenges to our recovery of economy. The late of July and the beginning of August actually is the peak season of flooding, which causes more uncertainties and instabilities to our economic development. But we talk about we have the policies from a fiscal side, monetary side, given to the enterprises. The relanding policies, rediscount policies to the enterprises will further produce the benefits to the enterprises, and it will also generate the good performance. And we also will see that emerging industries will also bring the additional impetus to our economic development. Having said all of these, we should maintain our confidence that our fundamentals of economic development will be still in a good trajectory, and we will give a satisfactory result of our economic development to our people in China. Thank you. Making use newspaper, we talk about the 6 stabilities. One of them is to stabilize the market entities. So how we can better support the SMEs to let them overcome the difficulties. Thank you for your question. Before I came here, I also actually focused that this will be for sure asked by our journalists. And General Xi Jinping had chaired a meeting with the entrepreneurs from SMEs. We talk about that we should think all the possible ways to protect our market entities in order to create the fundamentals of our economic further development. SMEs are the key pillars in this regard, and they are also the main channels to create jobs as well as maintain the stability of industrial and supply chain. To secure the market entities, especially how we can better maintain the stability of our SMEs, actually hold the key of the stability of our economic development. MIIT has earnestly been implementing the guidance given by General Secretary Xi Jinping as well as the deployment of a State Council. Coordinating the related departments and ministries to work together to bring the policies to the ground and help the enterprises to prevail over the difficulties caused by the COVID-19 outbreak. We have done the following in the first half of this year. First, we intensified our efforts to streamline the powers and improve the services and also improve the business environment. We work with the related ministries to introduce 16 policies and measures to support the further development of SMEs, and we also created a systematic design. This actually played a vital role in further development of SME. We have a systematic system in place that we give it a secure in terms of policies for SMEs to prosper. And we also invite the third party to conduct a evaluation and also make it available to the public. And we also would like to use the evaluation system to let the enterprises improve their performance. As we all know, the cash flow actually suffered a lot for SMEs during the pandemic period. And based on a requirement, we talk about 82.7 billion of arrearage have been paid, and we have finished half of our work for this year. For the arrearage less than 5 million RMB, which was the goal we set, were all paid. So that was the goal we set out in February. We have already paid out all these numbers in May. So that also should give a big thank you to all related parties for their hard work. And we also need to build a long-term policies and measures in place to make sure no phase owned or overdue. And we also strengthen our education of all the beneficial policies and measures. So we also take the opportunity of a special event to create a enabling environment to let enterprises know all these beneficial policies. And second, we also work hard to deal with the issues that getting the financing in a affordable cost. We work with the PBOC and CBIRC to public the policies regarding a favorable fiscal and the monetary policies, and also that the financial institutions to be more channeled to SMEs. So far, 1.8 trillion loans also deferred the payment of interest, and 13 trillion loans given to the SMEs, 27.6% growth. This is a quite faster speed in terms of growth of giving loans. And the average LPR, or the average interest rate, just 6.03%, 0.67 percentage point lower than the average level last year. And we also work with the Ministry of Finance to work with the guarantee system, and also have the 3 trillion funds from the central budget to give this as an award to the key areas in terms of the guarantee loans. So we can tell the central government actually attach great importance to give the financial and the fiscal as well as monetary support to SMEs. We all know that everyone should tighten our belt this year, but we can see actually the central government intensified the efforts and also have around 3 billion yuan to support the SMEs. And we also that the SME assistance agencies to take the guiding role. We support the local government to cultivate SMEs, and we also had a second round of the SME champion projects in order to have a cultivating system in place. We talk about the whether the country is equipped with a strong manufacturing sector. Of course, the flagship companies play a key role, but we talk about the strong or the championed enterprises, also the future. We talked about before that the people from Germany saying that if Siemens acquired by other countries, we're not worried because we will spend another 1 or 2 years to have a second Siemens. Why? Because they have that system in place. They can produce the second Siemens of this world. That is why we're also saying that we also should have that system of cultivating or creating the manufacturing companies with good performance. So we work hard to create that system so that combining the incubation system as well as the 380,000 enterprises actually included in this industrial park, and also work with the Ministry of Social Affairs to conduct training online, and work with the Ministry of Education to have that 100-day recruiting events to recruit the graduates. By the end of June, so far, I've organized more than 40,000 events. 3.3 million of services given to more than 1,200 enterprises. Because of all these supportive policies, the SMEs actually have seen a good performance. The H1 this year, the total value added of the industrial enterprises of SMEs have actually have seen the a 21.7 percentage point narrowed in Q1. Going forward, MIIT will implement the requirements laid out in the government work report, playing the coordinated role in assisting SMEs in order to help them to prevail over the difficulties caused by COVID-19 and achieve a sustainable and healthy development. Thank you. With CNBC, I have 2 questions. First, would you please describe the resumption of work of SMEs, whether they impact by the pandemic globally? And second, regarding the chips industry, so what's the overall situation for H1 and what's the policies or strategies do you have for this industry for the second half of this year? And regarding your 2 questions, maybe I will give to Mr. Huang and Mr. Wen. So let me first talk about the development of SMEs. Actually, once Mr. Xin already gave you a brief introduction, and with the implementation of supportive policies and measures, we have seen a good recovery of SMEs in terms of their development. And we also worked with relevant ministries to build a platform to monitor the performance of SMEs, and it showed that a big recovery. And we can see the key indicators all showed a change from negative to positive. And the total value added number increased by 8.3 and 14.9 and 14.1% increase in the profit. Going forward, the MIT will earnestly implement the deployment made by the State Council and CPC Central Committee, as well as the requirement in the government working report, and we will also let the existing policies to generate benefits and to further support SMEs. So first, we need to create a good environment to enable the SMEs to develop further, and we also have the working groups, and we will let them to create a synergy to help the SMEs to develop further, and we'll also let the fiscal policy as well as monetary policies to bring the benefits to SMEs, and also invite a third party to conduct the performance evaluation on SMEs, and we'll also release results to the public in due course. And second, we'll also give the support to the local government to let them to intensify their efforts to cultivate the next generation of the good enterprises in order to have a cultivating system in place. And we will also have a demonstration base of SMEs. And we will also have the projects regarding empowering SMEs. And we also will have the campaign of the emerging industries, emerging mode of business of SMEs. And we will also improve the administration system for SMEs. And we will also to create a platform in terms of public administration, and also mobilize the available resources across the board to give support to the SMEs. And we will also have the training to the entrepreneurs and also the talent of SMEs. And we also help them to expand the global market. And we also have a demonstration zone that will bring the creative factors in one place in terms of headcount, resources. And regarding chips sectors. I believe everyone quite interested in this sector. And because of COVID-19, and that caused some impact, but so far we can tell, as Mr. Xin introduced, the restoration actually already back to place. So we talk about the emerging technologies such as 5G actually develop in an accelerated way. We talk about the good circuit. Integrated circuits actually also a key part of a 5G, and the development of 5G actually also drive another growth of the circuit. And we talk about the 16.4% increase in the integrated circuits. In order to promote development of chips going forward, MIT will further implement the industrial guidelines in this regard, and we will let the market play its role to keep improving the market environment and also to strengthen the international cooperation in order to foster accelerate the growth of the integrated circuits. We let the market entities play its role and also let the academia, the industries, as well as markets to work together. And also we will focus on the R&D of the key technologies and also introduce key talent. And second, we will give a full play to the market because we know China has a vast market. We will also let the coordinated development of the higher and lower industry to create a synergy. And third, we will be open-minded, and China always open to the global market. We would like to cooperate with the international players, so we will strengthen our international cooperation to integrate in the international industrial chain. And fourth, we will also improve our policy environment, specifically the IP protection. We will also let the market play its key role to guide the flow of manufacturing factors in order to create a level playing field for all the players. Thank you. Thank you very much. The lessons given to the 5G players already been 1 year. So far, how's their performance and what the policies we have in place in order to further underpin the 5G road to support the economic development. Thank you very much for your interest in 5G development. MIT, as the watchdog of communications, have played a key role in terms of the network development operation. I would like to show you some numbers. First, regarding the network construction, the average number per week, more than 15,000 stations, base stations, have been constructed. So far, 400,000 base stations completed by the three key communication companies. And we talk about the terminals, and the number I got, 197 terminals actually acquired their permission to enter to the network. 86.23 million 5G phones already delivered. Regarding the user, by the end of June, we talk about the communication operators actually give us the number in different meanings, and we talk about that. For our number, no matter you use their service or not, we talk about people with 5G phone in their hands. It's 66 million. We believe this number will keep increasing monthly. So far, 5G development actually played a key role in terms of the cultivating a new engine for economic development, the industrial upgrading, as well as emerging technologies. Of course, the numbers show the good news. Having said that, we should also keep a level-headed. So far, the 5G development is still at a very early stage of commercialization. We still need to have the policy in place and also mobilize the market entities and also motivate all these market entities to participate in the development and application of 5G technology in order to create that ecosystem. So going forward, we need to do the following. First, we need to focus on the quantity as well as quality of a 5G base station construction. We need to speed up our construction, and also SA should be our key focus. And we should have the 5G network as in a high quality, covering the whole country. And we should also create the 5G with 200 Mbps. That China will be the first one to create this largest bandwidth communication system with 5G. And we will also give the support to the key cities to create that 5G construction, and for the encounter township as well as the villages, if condition allowed, they will also get 5G coverage. And second, we should also unleash the vigorous of the market entities, especially the online education, the mobile medical services, and online working, that we should expand the scenarios of 5G, and we also let the 5G services enter to the market with a good price proposition. And you can see that the 5G smartphone actually sell in a quite a high price, but so far we also can see the entry-level 5G phones also available in the market. So we can tell all these phones in different price position can fulfill the people's needs in order to further drive the accelerated development of 5G development. And we should also would like to see the synergy created by 5G and other industries. So we should let the other industries to be willing to apply 5G, and we should also study that what the bottleneck of a 5G in applying to other industries, and what is the pinpoint of that application. We should know exactly what is the pinpoint and what kind of solutions we can provide in order to have the unimpeded channel of cooperating 5G plus other industries. And what we are talking about, that our network actually is not only owned by us. So we talk 4G, 3G, 2G. So the majority of network service actually is phased to our day-to-day usage of our smartphone. But for 5G, of course, as for the application of smartphones, but the additional significance of 5G to our production. So before, the network actually is only 2C. Right now, it's not only 2C, but it's also should 2B. So for the different application scenarios of companies, so that 5G should also provide that tailor-made network service. So we also need to conduct the research and development regarding the data requirement of the manufacturing industry. So some the factories actually they just would like to get their data immediately and directly from the nearby base stations. So they would like to storage their own data, and they also would like to control their production and operation. All these actually pose new requirements to our network. So this is a different requirements for different industries. So this is also our goal going forward. And also we should focus on the policy building. We also encourage the localities to utilize 5G to have a policy toolbox in order to fulfill their D8 industrial upgrading, and also allow 5G to support their high quality economic development. Of course, we should also work with our global partners. We would like to strengthen our global cooperation to deep our cooperation in terms of industry, the technology, and application. And we also would like to create a new growth impetus globally to join hands to deal with the downward pressure caused by COVID-19 on global economy. Renmin News Agency. So my question regarding the charging panels. So in the government report that's saying that we should have more numbers of charging panels. So what is the situation going on so far regarding the new energy vehicles? So what is also the strategies in place? Thank you very much. We talk about new energy actually represents a new development direction of automobiles, which is also one of the key strategies laid out by the CPC Central Committee and State Council. With the concerted efforts made by the relevant departments, the development has gained in the new energy vehicles, which also a key force of industrial upgrading and transformation. So far, the total market size actually is outpacing the whole country. The production and sales in 5 consecutive years top the world. The number of NEVs surpassed 4.5 million, taking up 50% of the number globally. We focus on the further development of the whole industry. The technology also showed a good advancement. The mileage of an NEV is above 400 kilometers. And also the battery performance also improved. We talk about a whole cooperating sectors from the higher chain of the industry to the lower chain, also to the coordinated development. So far, we have 38,000 charging stations. 1.3 million charging poles, 551,000 private, the public ones, and 49,000 private charging poles. So before, people were quite worried about that, whether their NEVs can actually operating or running across cities. And right now we can see that you do not need to worry too much. A lot of expressway, actually, as long as you can find a power station, you always can find a charging station as well. And we also work with the key companies in this regard to build up the facilities along the expressways. We have the social expectations on the further development of NEVs, but we also need to see that we're not quite strong in the core technologies. The cost of the assembly cars is quite high, and also it's not that convenient to charge the NEVs. And a lot of consumers are actually still worried about how long they can run without charging. We talk about the battery charging or replacing actually meet the different demands, but we're still at the early stage of commercialization. In terms of the technologies, roadmap, and the mode of business, still under exploration. So we need to give the further support to encourage enterprises to be creative and innovative in terms of the new application of battery changing or charging in order to fulfill the different market needs. We talk about the battery replacement. Actually has its own features. So we talk about that the first advantage actually is much lower the cost of getting an EVs. We know the country has the policies, but still the price is still quite high. And the national subsidies to buy NEVs will be ended this year, by the end of this year, but because of COVID-19, we may extend the period of us giving subsidies. We talk about battery replacing car, actually can much lower the cost of getting NEVs, and second, that also increase the convenience of going outside. We talk about replacing the battery. Actually, the time required is shorter than fueling the tank of the car. So it's based on our calculation, the battery replacing just need 3 minutes. But we talk about refueling the car that needs around 5 to 8 minutes. So we talk about as long as you get used to this battery replacing mode, it's very convenient. And third, we talk about the battery companies need to provide the maintenance work in order to extend the life cycle of the battery. So the consumers who actually buy the NEVs, they not really have the rich knowledge in maintaining the batteries. But we talk about actually the battery is a quite fragile part. We talk about the whole things surrounding batteries actually require a high technology to realize it. So during your actual usage, you need to always play a close eye on the maintenance to see whether your battery is healthy. Because during the replacement or the 1 hour after replacement, that's a quite risky time that may cause some issues. But I still tell that the self-igniting or the self-combustion accident of an EV is actually much lower than our normal vehicles. So we still need to talk about people need to change their mindset. So for a normal practice, we know that we should go to a gas station to refuel our car. But we talk about for NEVs, why we cannot really change the battery or replace the battery, right? And fourth, we also can utilize the time of use price to take the benefits provided by the battery replacement. So for the NEVs, a lot of consumers actually charge their vehicles when they back home. So that's the peak time of the electric charges. So if the battery companies manage your battery, then they can utilize the peak and valley electric charges in order to save costs. Additionally, we also can consider that based on your daily mileage, you can consider that how much electricity you would like to charge. So far, the capacity of the battery is around 400 kilometers. So no matter how long you run, you need to have that 400 kilometer with you, but that is really heavy, taking up quite a proportion of your overall weight of the car. But think about your daily mileage. So that's just around 50 kilometers. Therefore, in this sense, let's say if I run 50 kilometers today, then why I just run that charge the electricity for 50 kilometers? I don't need that 400 kilometers. It will much light the car, and also actually, if everyone will do so, that will also save the energy. Therefore, we believe that is also an additional advantage of NEVs. So people still have concerns, right? So if you're worried, then I give you 70 kilometers, right? That have additional buffer room. That is also can help us to deal with the difficulties in installing the charging pallets in the old communities. So people talking about that if I'm living in the old communities, that the voltage actually cannot fulfill my need to install the charging pallet, then that who should be the one that we go to and who should pay the bill? So there are a series of questions in place in terms of installing the charging pallets in old communities. But if you use a battery replacement mode, that will effectively help you solve the issues. And 6, the battery replacement mode will also help us to cultivate the emerging mode of business. We talk about the express delivery, actually very convenient. You just make a phone call within 10 minutes, the courier boy will arrive at your doorway. So I also talk with the battery companies, saying that if your consumer has a requirement regarding the battery replacement, then your boy can arrive at that destination within 10 minutes. So technology-wise, there's no bottleneck. You need additional robotic arms. But we can tell if that all can be realized. It doesn't make a phone call saying I out of battery, then will be someone to deliver a battery to replace it for you. I believe this is a new business mode. But for sure, is there any difficulties or problems? For sure. For example, the overall design of the whole assembly car, the battery sink, that should be standardized, right? Then we should have a national standard in place. And same apply to batteries. No matter it's a soft one or hard one, or the square one, or other size of the battery. You should all have a standard in place, and also how to install the battery. That we should all have the standard in place. So there are a lot of things waiting for us to further explore. But from the technological side, there is no big showstopper. Therefore, in the next stage, we will work with relevant departments and ministries to further promote the battery charging mode. And we encourage the enterprises based on the actual scenarios of application to figure out the new mode of battery charging, and we also support the pilot zone in Beijing and Hainan to drive the high quality development of NEVs. At Beijing, the BGEV actually already developed their plan in this regard. And also for the public transportation, some buses also applied the battery replacement mode, and also for taxis in Beijing, after the usage of the battery replacement, the order receiving rate actually increased by 30%. The mileage also increased by 30%, and also the personal income of taxi drivers also improved by 30%. We can tell actually this brings benefits to all relevant players. So I also would like to call on our journalists to help us do more promotion and let everyone know these benefits and advantages in order to make greater contribution in green development of the whole country. It's China Daily. We talk about the stabilizing the industrial chain is one of the 6 securities in place, and what's our policies in place, and what's our strategies going forward. Thank you for your questions. The ACPC Central Committee and State Council touch great importance and the impact on the stabilizing industrial and the supply chain. So this is also one of the areas in maintaining securities. So we also would like to make our efforts in coordinating the restoration of industrial and supply chains. We would also play and have played a key role in stabilizing industrial and supply chain in a healthy and sustainable way. And we have already made our work in this regard. We have sent 30 liaison people in 7 cities to focus on the key projects, as well as giving support to the flagship companies in order to realize the coordinated restoration of work and production. Regarding the stabilizing of the supply of anti-epidemic materials, we also help the enterprises to find raw materials domestically and internationally, make sure that the companies will not stop producing because of lack of raw materials. We also give the physical and the financial monetary tools to bring the benefits to the enterprises to help them overcome the difficulties. And we also have the online shopping event achieved a daily sales of 38 billion RMB to let the internet drive the overall consumption. We also, within our capacity to make our great contribution to the global efforts against COVID-19, in terms of the impeded flow of the headcounts and the materials, we also give the policies and actual assistance to the companies to prevail over the difficulties caused by the COVID-19 in the next steps. And top of the normalization of prevention and control of disease, MIT will do everything we can to stabilize the industrial and supply chains. And we will also focus on the key sectors and major industries and the leading enterprises, highlighting the bottlenecks, difficulties, and pains they have encountered in resuming work and protection. And more efforts we will have in place to create a coordinated resumption. And we will also give a key focus and also have the symposium in terms of the information transmission software information technology services, make sure the unimpeded flow of headcount and factors of manufacturing. And second, we will also improve the impetus of enterprises. So on top of the monetary, fiscal, and financial measures in place, we'll also further lower the cost of procurement, time, and we will also do everything we can to deal with the overdue payment. And we will also let the enterprises understood the whole situation, and they should prepare additional inventories regarding the key parts and materials needed in their industrial and manufacturing chain. And we will also work out the policies in the automobile sectors, and will also have let the internet play its key role to transform more the overseas market sales to domestic market sales. We will also actively to explore the new application of O2O in order to unleash the additional potential in the market. And fourth, we will also consolidate the advantage of the enterprises and make sure our industry is more resilient. We have a bunch of projects in place. And for example, we will cultivating a group of the enterprises to let them strong enough to deal with the disasters and diseases. And we will also strengthen our global cooperation. Thank you. And due to the interest of time, last two questions. Thank you very much. As Mr. Wen introduced, we have around 6.6 million consumers using 5G service. But based on the data released by the three key communication enterprises, around 100 million consumers already entered to the 5G network. But based on our observation, the people still have that wait-and-see attitude toward 5G. So what's your take on that? And how we encourage the consumers, more consumers, to convert to 5G? What kind of policies or strategies we have in place? and with Renmin news agency as well. Indeed, as you mentioned, since the availability of 5G last year, the operational companies actually worked really hard to promote further development of 5G. Based on their market survey, they also launched a series of projects to attract people to use 5G. So we talk about a 5G combo. Actually, it's not you use 5G smartphone, you can use a 5G combo. Actually, even if you hold a 4G smartphone, you also can use a 5G combo. So let's say if you would like to buy a 3G smartphone, it's really difficult, right? With time flies. As I said, right now 5G already reached the 86 million. We will reach 100 million by the end of this year for sure. We believe we will see more and more consumers will convert to 5G smartphones. So with the further development of 5G network as well as the terminals, we will see more people choosing 5G. And of course, there is market competitions among the operational companies. We will not interfere the market cooperation. You need to lower this price, you need to lower that price. What we want to create is a vigorous market competition environment with level playing field. So for the operational companies, as long as you protect the consumers' rights and interests, you can use whatever you can think about to attract additional consumers. And they also have a loyal campaign or the different events in place to attract more the loyal consumers with them to use 5G. So we talk about that. Like sometimes, then we talk about the forceful policies or the in place, but we talk about this is something we discourage, and so far we will further promote development of 5G, and we'll also for sure have the policies, guidelines, rules, and regulations in place in order to support the development of 5G. So which urging and requiring the companies that if you have a new business available to your consumers, you need to notice the consumers ahead of time. So we overhaul the market before. Therefore, during the whole service, we ask all the operational companies to give a notice to the consumers. So going forward, the relevant departments will play a close eye on the development and also the behavior of the operational companies. If the consumers not agree to use a new combo, but the companies forced the consumers to use the new combo, then that will be illegal behaviors that will also under our punishment. One last two questions. With China Business Network, I have a question that really concerns everyone regarding the availability of vaccine. And we talk about investment in the manufacturing sector actually dropped 10.7% much. It's lower than the growth of the value added number. So what's the strategies we have in place? So we talk about the Ministry of Science and Technology doing the research work. We're talking about manufacturing, about the vaccines. So right now we have around 13 companies conducting the production capability building of producing the vaccines. And 9 out of the 13 companies are allowed and entitled to do the manufacturing. And we talk about we have the companies in dealing with the vaccines in adenovirus vector vaccines, the recombinant protein vaccine, and also the mRNA vaccine, as well as inactivated vaccines. So we place a close eye to the end-to-end process of manufacturing and also prepare ourselves ready to produce all these vaccines. And we also have the weekly allocation system in place, and we also have the window person from our side to help the enterprises deal with their problems they are facing in producing the vaccines. And we also ask the companies to build the biosafety plants to produce the vaccine and also make themselves ready to have enough productivity to produce vaccines. And we also studied in detail regarding the risks of producing vaccines, and we also have a number in place. It's just a rough number. We talk about the COVID-19 vaccines by the end of this year can fulfill the need of 600 million, and the number for next year will be 10 million, the 10 billion. Just a rough number. So we talk about, because of COVID-19, the producer price quite low, and also the market expectations also quite low. That is all cost the investment in the manufacturing sector. So we also believe that we still face a big downward pressure on investment in the second half of this year. But with the COVID-19 prevention and control has seen a stabilized momentum, as well as the benefits of the policies are unleashed. Then we also have seen some good changes in investment. First, the decline of investment of keeping it narrowed. 7.4% narrowed, 3.5 percentage point narrowed than the number in the first 5 months, which means that some companies have actively enhanced their structure of manufacturing in order to achieve the faster development. Except Hubei, the number for the red cities dropped 2.2%, which means Hubei as a big manufacturing city seriously hit by the COVID-19. Right now, 19 cities already achieved a positive growth number. Second, for the middle and western regions also see a accelerated growth pace. Besides Hubei, the investment number increased 1.9% for these regions, 1.3 percentage point faster than the number for the first 5 months. The number for western region is 2.8%, 2.9 percentage point faster than the first 5 months. And third, we're also seeing the investment in the high-tech manufacturing sector, 5.8 percentage point achieved, 1.3 percentage point faster than the first 5 months. And we talk about sectors such as information technology services, the information transmission, pharmaceutical sectors all achieve faster growth rate. Indeed, in every crisis, the majority of people actually hold that wait and see attitude. But we also see that some companies well prepared themselves, believe that the winter season for the market is a spring season for investment. We have seen some companies did so during the pandemic. Let's say a glass manufacturing company has a production line of 22 items. For each production actually should not exceed a certain number, because they would like to control their overall risk management. So they have a good understanding of risks. We talk about for the company like the glass manufacturing, their furnace should not stop. If they stop their operation of furnace, if they would like to restart again, they need to change a total furnace. Therefore, they have utilized different ways of solutions to deal with the risks, and they also have a multi-regional planning. So when we talk with them, they're saying that they also need to not only have their geographical planning in China, they also need to think about in the global background. So we talk about this company from January to June, their total sales actually increased 4%. So for the enterprises with strategic strategies, the strategic understandings, that actually they know it is the time for them to make investment with really low costs. Going forward, we will further implement the strategies laid out in the 6 stabilities and 6 securities. That the investment plays key role and to upgrade and transform the manufacturing sectors in order to achieve a high quality development. We will do the following. First, we will guide enterprises to strengthen their efforts in upgrading the technologies. We'll talk about the technology upgrading should always the same for the manufacturing companies. We talk about 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Not saying that when we upgrade to 4.0, we should totally write out all the previous generations. Actually, we should, on top of the previous generations, to upgrade our technologies in order to achieve a low cost, maximum return of investment way. So if you pay a visit to Japan, then I recommend you to pay a visit to Toyota. In terms of global manufacturing, actually Toyota has their own way of working methods. You always can see their historic working methods all over the Toyota companies. So which means they keep upgrading their manufacturing and quality manufacturing to strengthen their core advantages. Therefore, we should strengthen our investment in the traditional enterprises in terms of upgrading technologies in order to achieve the green, healthy, sustainable development. Right now, 5G empowered the manufacturing sectors, which means that we have a way to achieve green, digital, intelligent upgrading. So talk about green and smart development as well as the Internet of Industries. We should have the suppliers in place to help everyone achieve these. It's not reliable and also not the reality that each company work out their own solution. We need to have suppliers in the market to provide services to the largest number of SMEs. We also need to build up that public service platform to provide the testing business to further underpin the technology upgrading endeavor. And the second, we should work on the overall arrangement of the technologies. As Mr. Wen said regarding 5G construction, we should enrich the application of 5G scenarios. We emphasize the 5G service available to the customers, but we also should focus on the A2B business. If 5G technology is just 2C, which means require the operational companies to think everything they can to make benefit from the consumers, that is a misleading route of a 5G development. So how 5G can change our way of life, that's the most important thing, is that 5G will change our way of manufacturing. Therefore, we should focus more emphasis on the A2B part, so let the 5G to connect everything. That is also we talk about the intelligence manufacturing technologies. So we also urge the cooperation between the traditional companies as well as the 5G companies. And we also talk about the Internet of Vehicles. We talk about the unpiloted cars will be the highly expected scenarios of 5G. So before that, driverless pilot mode is something we only can see in the scientific movies. But with 5G availability, very soon we will see the driverless technology available in our realities. And this year we will also compile the guidelines regarding the connecting the financial institutions with the traditional industries, and also work with CBD to give the financial support in this regard. So we talk about the downward trajectory of investment in manufacturing will be narrowed in the second half of this year. By the end of this year, we would like to see a positive growth. We believe we can do so. Based on the data available, the manufacturing of automobiles, especially the NEVs, I see a sharp decrease. What's the reason behind, and what strategies do we have to further support the companies in the automobile industry? So this is a very key question, and we also know that this is a very important industry featuring a really long expanded industrial and supply chain, which can cause a big impact to all relevant players. Starting from 2017, the production and sales of cars reached peak. After 2018, we have seen the decline in production and sales. So that happened in 2018 and 2019, stopping a positive trajectory for 28 consecutive years. But we believe that actually in coordination with the national development, no industry can always maintain that positive trajectory. With the saturation of cars, as well as the supply and demand of the road resources and its limitation on the road, we have seen a slowdown in the production and sales of cars. And you also ask about the new energy vehicles. A sharp decline happened in NEVs. So NEV actually is a emerging part of the automobile industries. So that should also follow a natural law of any emerging industries. So when the COVID-19 outbreak happened, and also a downward trajectory of the whole economic growth, a decline happened in new energy vehicles actually are acceptable, but it's short-lived. From January to June, 10 million new vehicle cars actually produced and sold, which is a good performance. Of course, we're still seeing a two-digit number of decline, but if you compare to other countries, this is a acceptable performance. Decline in NEVs is surpassing the average of the whole automobile industries, at least double the number of decline. Against this background, the MIT and the State Council attach great importance because this is a really big industry. So MIT playing a key role, coordinated the relevant departments, focusing on the development of automobiles. We think about the available ways to give support to this industry. And we also have the policies and the measures will be introduced and already introduced to underpin the development of automobile consumption. And on March 31st, we also have the meetings specifically regarding this topic. And we also adjust the emission standard regarding the national level 6 in terms of time schedule, and also regarding 10 cities at Beijing or Shanghai will introduce certain policies such as the limitation of purchasing or the limitation of transporting. Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Shanghai, Beijing, for example, all have made some changes, unleashing the potential consumption. Right now, the prevention and control of epidemic has seen a stable positive changes that also produce a positive number in automobile industry. The number in June the production of vehicles in June finished at 2.3 million, increased by 22.5%, and we sold 2.3 million cars, representing 11.6% of growth, which is a hard-won performance. The NEVs we produced 102,000 cars, representing 21.4% growth, and 104,000 cars sold, representing 26.8% growth. We talk about BYD. Actually, they have a new model of cars. Before it's available in the market, already have a sold of 23,000 cars. More cars sold than Tesla. So the overall fundamentals of the automobile industry is actually still stable. Going forward, we will further implement the arrangement deployment made by CPC Central Committee and State Council, and we will also introduce the measures and plans to support the stable growth of the whole industry. So first, we should further push the consumption of automobiles. For some cities, they had policies in this regard, but they have some difficulties in implementation. And we should also focus on the taking out of the road of the old vehicles in order to unleash the potential of the growth of the whole industry. And we also have the guideline starting from 2021 to 2035. Right now, we already finished the whole studying work, already applied to State Council for further approval. In order to strengthen our confidence in further developing the NEVs, and also have with a clear goal. And we will also have the action plan regarding the public transportation with NEV application. So we talk about the buses, taxis, the logistic trucks, and also the cars used by the sanitary workers. We'll realize the electrification work. Like in Shenzhen, they already changed the whole public transportation to electric car, and also part of the cars in Beijing already finished the whole endeavor, and we will further push this work. We have seen a quite high demand in the market regarding the public transportation of electrification. So that's because of the air pollution, we have seen a big requirement in controlling the air condition. So we will also work hard to electrify the logistic trucks. And we also have a campaign to bring the NEVs to villages. We work with MOFCOM as well as ministries of agriculture and agricultural affairs. And we will have a kickoff tomorrow in Qingdao. And third, we will strengthen our efforts in stimulating the administration and also to improving the services in order to further unleash the potentials in the market. We also have a catalog in application, so which also help the enterprises to shorten their application time. We have done a lot in this regard. We believe with all these policies, to be implemented to their letters, and also we have the pilot projects to play the driving role. We will see the vigorous played by the automobile industry. Thank you all.